Yeah. I just wanted to enjoy myself after the World Cup for a little bit, but apparently Eddie Jones has his own plans, and he has finally resigned to go to do whatever. Definitely not with Japan, by the way. Yeah. So it's yeah. So I think the one thing that I want to say, Rugby Australia has finally played the chess game better than they've done in the past. They have managed to get Eddie Jones to resign and thus not pay him out instead of, trying. Eddie Jones has been trying to get himself fired, by the way, in case you haven't noticed. And he's been trying to get himself fired so he can get the payout. So Rugby Australia didn't fall for it. So yeah, finally they did one thing. I mean, after all the atrocities they've done, you got to get something right? There's no doubt Dave Rennie was sacked because Eddie Jones had a chat with Rugby Australia behind Dave Rennie's back. Okay, there's no doubt about it. There's no way Rugby Australia would be sacking Dave Rennie if it wasn't for Eddie Jones and his lies. Okay? And he is a liar. Let's have a look. Let's go through all the bullshit that Eddie Jones has come out of Eddie Jones' mouth in the last, 10 months or so as the head coach of Rugby Australia, right?
With the JRF, I said I don't know what you're talking about, mate. Can you give Wallabies fans your absolute 100% commitment that you will not be coach of Japan next year? I'm committed to coach Australia.
Yeah, there you go. After Wales, committed. Yeah. Eddie Jones, like, how do you live with yourself with all the lies? Like, honestly, what your mum will be disappointed in you. How do you live with yourself? How do you look yourself in the mirror with all the lies that constantly comes out of your mouth? It's unbelievable. So yeah, he's resigned as of officially today. It was said that it was officially announced that he actually resigned just after the World Cup finished, and finally, this was July last year, right? We can finally call him a traitor. He called him a traitor, and he's all really mad. Finally, we can call him a traitor. Eddie Jones, the freaking traitor. And yeah, he is the worst Wallabies coach ever in history. This run. He actually managed to outdo his own poor performances from 2004, right? 2004 to 2005. He actually managed to outdo himself there. And 22% win rate, lowest ever. 0 wins against Tier 1 nation. Yeah, I know. Yeah, if you call Wales a Tier 1 nation, I know. After how poorly Wales was performing in the Six Nations, right? Yeah. 30 points against every game. Yeah, Wales flogged us 40 points to 6. The Welsh team that came last, just in front of Italy in Six Nations, right? Flogged us 40 points to 6 under Eddie Jones. 6 Capital United tests, of course. Last place rugby championship for first time ever. Yeah. We lost Argentina at home. It's like they set the schedule for the rugby championship. So like it's impossible for the Wallabies to be at last because they set the one game that you have to win to make sure that you won't be last at home in Australia, in Sydney. So it's like the least likely case for Australia to not go last in the rugby championship, and they lost at home and become the last place rugby championship. It's actually mind-boggling. If this was like played in Buenos Aires or something, you can say, well, the schedule is a bit tough. No! Literally the schedule is set to make sure that does not happen, or in favor of the Wallabies, and it happened. Unbelievable, right? Our largest loss to the Springbok B team, by the way, I don't care what you say, it's the B team, flogged us. It was unbelievable. One of the most atrocious performances I've ever seen in my life. My goodness. And this guy has the balls. He actually has the balls to try to claim credit for his atrocity that he's done to Rugby Australia. He actually says, okay, let me get this right. Hopefully, it'll be the catalyst for change. Sometimes you have to eat shit for others to eat caviar down the track. Eddie Jones, thanks for eating shit for the future success that's going to happen to Australia, mate. You're going to have to take credit for everything all the good stuff, because you have finally driven the team to the bottom of the barrel. There's only one way to go, right? And Eddie Jones is going to take credit for that. He's set it up. He set it up for the inevitable upwards move for the Rugby Australia. This guy, he is just unbelievable. Unbelievable. This guy is an absolute fucking unbelievable. And yeah, believe it or not, his post Rugby World Cup press conference, again, he reiterated that he was going to stay in Australia, had no talks with Japan, all right? At Coogee Ovals, showed everyone, look guys, I'm at Coogee Oval, this is rugby, I'm here promoting rugby, right? And he actually came out in that, and I thought, I honestly, I would spit on him if I was at the conference. If I was one of the media guys there. He actually said that Michael Hooper, Bernard Foley, and Quade Cooper weren't obsessed enough with winning, and that's why they were dropped. And that they were not a great role model for the team. I literally would have. This is literally what he said. The situation reminded me of Wayne Bennett letting Wally Lewis go. If you don't know what Wally Lewis was, my understanding was he was very brash and arrogant, and he was one of the best, if not the best, rugby league players ever. But he was very arrogant about himself. Maybe I don't know exactly why he was sacked. But I'm guessing it has something to do with maybe that. I don't know. But he's saying it's like that, which is absolutely not the case, not even remotely close. No one could quite understand why, but Wally Lewis wasn't a great role model for the rest of the team, suggesting that Michael Hooper, Quade Cooper, and Bernard Foley were not great role models. And he said that you need guys who are obsessed with winning, obsessed with being good, and those three are past those stages. How dare you? How dare you fucking say that, Eddie Jones? How dare you fucking say that? How dare you fucking say that? Especially about Michael Hooper. Despite your fucking atrocity, the losses at the World Cup, Michael Hooper still fucking backed you in commentary. After you lost to Wales, after you lost to Fiji, he still backed you. Because you know why? He's a much better fucking person than you, Eddie Jones. You're fucking atrocious. He furthermore said in that interview that the players that was dropped weren't good enough going forward. Despite the fact that most of the players still played in Australia, still will be qualified to play for the Wallabies in the future, he just said that they weren't good enough. We have to go a different direction. It's just absolutely unbelievable. The sort of shit that coming out of his mouth. Like his mum, his Japanese mother will be very disappointed in him. He still insists that he has no Japanese job lined up after he resigned, by the way. And he blamed that the system, Australian rugby system, needs to be changed. And the change didn't happen enough within 10 months whilst he was here, right? And that's the reason that that's the reason that he decided to quit Rugby Australia. And yeah, he gave it a good, great run, Eddie. By the way, a lot of you guys saying, I know a lot of you guys will say, hey, Wildkard, Eddie Jones, beauty for the future, mate. Beauty for the future. Let me just give you one fucking selection and you will know the lies that came out of Eddie Jones' mouth is not fucking true. Eddie Jones debuted Richie Arnold, Rory Arnold's brother, at 33 years of age. He only has 8 caps, all under Eddie Jones. He debuted him this year. And 8 caps is basically every fucking test match the Wallabies play this year. I think the Wallabies played 10 in total this year. And he played 8. As a 33-year-old, he was selected ahead of Matt Phillip, who also plays a lock, at 29 years of age. He was selected ahead of Jed Halloway, 30 years of age, who's a lock and a blindside flanker. And Jed Holloway was actually dropped from the squad altogether. That's Eddie Jones telling you he's building for the fucking future. He think Richie Arnold is going to be at the Rugby World Cup 2027 as a 37-year-old. He thinks that Richie Arnold is Johnny Sexton at the 2027 World Cup. He's going to magically switch to play fly half. Michael Hooper, 32 years of age. He was 31. He just turned 32, October 29, literally a couple of days ago. He was 31 during the World Cup. Reece Hodge, 29. And you telling me debuting a 33-year-old is building for the fucking future? Also, I've already talked about this before. I don't want to go too much into it. Carter Gordon. Eddie Jones picked Carter Gordon as the only exclusive specialist 10 for the Rugby World Cup. And I wonder why. He lost 40 points to 6. Carter Gordon plays for the Rebels. Literally the worst team in Australia. In a competition that is so lackluster, half the best players in Australian team plays from overseas. Plays in Japan. And yet, Carter Gordon never played a quarterfinal in his whole life. And Eddie Jones thinks this guy's gonna not only take the Wallabies to the quarterfinals, but all the way to win the Rugby World Cup. That was his promise. And funny when Eddie Jones still insists, even when he resigned, right? Even as he resigned of today, officially today, his most recent interviews still says that he has no plan in Japan, that he's going to Japan for a holiday at the end of this year, right? Even though this has been confirmed all over the world, even by his own boss, right here, his own boss, this idiot, Hamish McLennan, even he has confirmed that Eddie Jones had a call with Japan Rugby, fully aware the job offer made to Jones. And this was during the Rugby World Cup. This was released during the Rugby World Cup. Not today, not yesterday. This was during the Rugby World Cup. That interview has occurred before the Rugby World Cup. As reported by Tom Deason from the Sydney Morning Herald. And Eddie Jones still insists that didn't happen. And this guy, still, the Rugby Australia need to get together. He's the one that hired Eddie Jones, sacked Dave Rennie. He needs to go. He's absolutely no clue what he's doing. He needs to go. But hey, that's not what we're going to be talking about here today. And furthermore, this was reported, Eddie Jones staying at Rugby Australia was further reported by the Japanese news media that they have, in fact, in contract negotiation, held privately behind the scenes, and preparation is underway for his return since 2015 Rugby World Cup. And the negotiations have been conducted with this guy, Masato Tsuchida. This guy, the president of the Japan Rugby Union, Masato Tsuchida. Now, I'm going to go on a bit of a rant on Japan Rugby. So, yeah. First of all, my whole family is a big fan of Japan Rugby. I had a Japanese jersey from the 2019 Rugby World Cup, and my dad wanted it, so I had to give it to him as Christmas present. And this guy, talk about Japan, right? Japan is known to be a culture of respect. That's really important to respect people. And this guy, it's the furthest thing from fucking respect I have ever seen. How the fuck could you come out and talk to another coach from another country and try to poach them, dangle like big contract in front of them just before the Rugby World Cup? What respect is that from this guy? Tsuchida. What is the respect in that, Japan? I have nothing against, the Japanese people, the fans, the unions, the players, but this guy. How dare you? What kind of fucking respect you call that? And by the way, this guy is doing such a shit job for Japan, right? He somehow thinks that Japan failing to make out of the World Rugby World Cup in the easiest fucking pool after 4 years of huge money being invested into the game, in the Japanese Rugby League, that domestic league, League 1, they still can't get a team to make out of the easiest pool in the Rugby World Cup. And you know what? You know what this guy says? He thinks by hiring the coach from the second easiest pool with the Wallabies, Eddie Jones is a fucking improvement. This fucking idiot thinks that's the case. I know. He thinks that's a fucking improvement. He has flooded the domestic competition with talents from all over the fucking world. And let's face it, I know a lot of you guys don't want to say this. I know the media know what's going to say this because they wanted to potentially one day get some of the Japanese gravy money sent to them because they're all looking for getting a job in Japan. It's free money. So nobody want to say this, but I don't give a fuck. This guy has done tremendous amount of damage to rugby all around the fucking world. By poaching talents from all over the fucking world, handing out fucking visas to everybody who can fucking pass a rugby ball. All the fucking coaches go there. All the fucking talents for Super Rugby has been drained because of this fucking idiot to play in Japanese league. And what do we get? I will be happy if Japan Rugby actually, over 4 years of massive money pumped into it, doing damage to competitions all around the fucking world, Super Rugby, to rugby in South Africa, and to some extent, lesser extent to European teams. What do they get? A team still can't make it out of the pool. A domestic competition that is an absolute fucking joke. I'll tell you, it's a fucking joke. The teams with the most foreigners flog the teams with the fewest foreigners. And guess what? Even with the foreigners in their team, with fucking Springboks stacked into the ceiling, the quality of rugby played is a fucking joke. I watched Super Rugby finals. I watched the top 14 finals in France. I watched the URC final. I watched the fucking even fucking Owen Farrell squeezing his way win for another final win in the Premiership. The Japanese final is by far the fucking worst. You want to see a little bit? I'll give you just a little bit of what I'm fucking talking about. This is the final, right? This is the final for Japan Rugby. You can watch this on YouTube. I don't know. Maybe legal, maybe not. I don't know. But this is Damien Delenda right here. This is Marika Korn-Betty right here. And this is what we get. Damien Delenda makes a break. Pass. Good. Free. Try time. Oh! This fucking game. Go watch it. For the majority of this game, neither team could make a fucking play more than could go more than 5 phases without fucking up a drop ball or a fucking penalty or a fucking kick that goes out on the full. Kickoff that goes straight out on full. It's fucking atrocious. All the money they pump into this is still fucking atrocious. And they still can't produce a national team that can get out of the easiest fucking pool of the Rugby World Cup. And this guy thinks Eddie Jones will save Japan Rugby. This idiot. I hope you put into his clause that you get to fuck Eddie Jones every night, because otherwise you're not going to get your money's worth for whatever Eddie Jones is going to do. And I can't wait. For Eddie Jones to drive your fucking team further into the shit. And then you're going to have to pay him out when he quits. When you fire him. It's a fucking joke.